This is the Travel and Tourism Show on Star FM.
Good evening and welcome once again to the Travel and Tourism Show. I'm Mazwi Shamu. If you missed last week's show, then you missed out on a lot. We are continuing our conversation this week with Dr. Kaseke. He is in the studio and I'll give you a quick rundown on the things that we talked about last week. We talked about the number of visitors that came into the country this past Christmas season, and he mentioned that it was absolutely overwhelming and he had never seen such numbers before. Those sort of numbers are quite exciting for us in the travel and tourism industry. It means a lot. It means money. It means a better image. It means all sorts of things that are happening within Zimbabwe, and we are not being left behind in this new dispensation, but we are also moving along and joining the bandwagon as well. We also talked about the domestic tourism numbers, and we talked about how it's still highly priced, but regardless of that, we still had very good numbers visiting our local destinations and our local resorts. Dr. Kaseke highlighted the 100-day plan that the ministry and the board in particular has for the tourism industry. One of the key issues that he mentioned was to do with the domestic market issue, how it's important to bring those prices down so that the domestic market can enjoy our own tourism products. He also talked about or touched on customer service and the importance of that and the plans that are in place in order to make it better so that people enjoy their stays. He did highlight hindrances here and there that are still existing, mentioned how the police are not so much a hindrance anymore, but we do have other problems that are there. We ended off just talking about, we had started talking about Spanish investors or investors that have come into the country and they were looking to invest. The other investors that he mentioned, he said that there were European investors that had also come in after the Spanish investors. We want to start off from there today and just highlight what all of this means to tourism and why you should be interested or not interested in listening to what investors have to bring into the tourism industry. So, Dr. Kaseke, welcome back once again to the Travel and Tourism Show.
Thank you, Mazwi. Thank you very much.
We'll start off, like I mentioned. You talked about Spanish investors last week. You also mentioned European investors. Can you just quickly recap on that?
No, I think the investors who came were not from Europe as a whole. They were specifically from the United Kingdom, 27.
Okay.
Coming from the United Kingdom. These are tour consolidators and some few tour operators. If tour consolidator is someone who looks at wholesaling a package and he also tour operators. So these were the type of people who came and they were very excited. They actually left the country believing, rightfully so, that Zimbabwe is really now open for business. And they came because the president has called them. In his inaugural speech, he said people should come. Zimbabwe is open for business, and with no time, we saw people coming from Spain, like we said, from the United Kingdom itself. And I think it was exciting that such a huge number of tour consolidators coming to Victoria Falls and looking at how they'll be selling Victoria Falls from 2018. So that was exciting news. Anyone in the tourism industry could be excited by that number because these are people who were never in Zimbabwe before, who are coming to really look at what. These are people like your Thompsons, UK, like your TUI, like your Thomas Cook. So these are people who are serious, and I think when we get such type of people visiting us, saying we want to see whether Zimbabwe is really open for business, and they left convinced that Zimbabwe is open for business and for real.
Wow. I think anyone in the tourism industry, and maybe even to the listeners out there who are not really into tourism, those names that you have mentioned are not small names.
They are not.
One of those names those are the people who started with tour packages, travel packages within the travel and tourism industry. So we are talking about big investment. That's very exciting.
That is true.
Dr. Kaseke, now I must tell listeners that he is not just Dr. Kaseke for nothing. He is captain of the ship. He is CEO of the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. And to just endorse that, last year he received an award. Correct me if I'm wrong, that you received it in Cannes in France.
Yeah, that is true.
What was that all about? It was the Manager of the Year. Can you highlight that for us?
Yeah, it was the Manager of the Year award, which is seen maybe as a lifetime award. That is for the region. And the region that we're talking about here, we're talking about the Africa and Middle East, were grouped as one region. So in Africa and Middle East, they chose who they thought maybe did very well in his area of specialization, and they thought that I deserved to be respected and be given that award. So I am the current Manager of the Year, but it's also a lifetime award that they awarded on me. Yes.
Wow. Whatever you receive as the Chief Executive Officer of the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority goes a long way for us Zimbabweans as well. It creates a better image for us. True. And that also helps in bringing in these investors that we are talking about. And back to these investors, are we not shooting ourselves in the foot? Investors are great, but are we not taking one step back and multiple steps back, especially when we think about leakages? Is there a plan to prevent both export and import leakages?
Yeah, we are really also equally concerned about that. But the magnitude of the leakages that we have witnessed of late or tried to work around of late, I think they were very minimal. Because in the past, the tourism industry was accused of externalizing a lot of funds and not bringing those funds back. But the cycle for tourism, how it works, when a consolidator sells a package and people come and enjoy that package, the payment is allowed to be paid or to be done within 30 days. Once that payment is done within 30 days, we expect that payment to be received in the country within the next 4 to 5 days, meaning from the day of the people enjoying the package. And what we've been seeing a lot of compliance, a very high level of compliance, where monies from tourists who come to Zimbabwe are then, do they really reach Zimbabwe? From our study and our research and our monitoring, I think the level of compliance has been very, very high in the 98%. So I think, yes, but that 2%, which we are not sure whether it's leakage or is something, I think we must also plug it. But I think that fear, honestly speaking, is normal. Yes.
Yeah. Would having our manufacturing industry up and running help to curtail some of the leakages that we may have, especially with the numbers that we're talking about coming in over the past Christmas season? I'm sure they had to make a plan. Like you were saying last week when you were on the show, that you had to book your breakfast.
Yes.
And if you were late for breakfast, then they would make a plan for you later on. Yes. But surely that also means that things were running out and things had to be brought in fast. If that was the case, if our manufacturing sector is up and running well, would that help in minimizing the leakages?
Yes, the whole purpose of tourism is to bring national income, is to bring in new money. If we talk about international tourism brings in new money into the economy. New money in the sense that is money that is owned by foreigners, which was not there before. Unlike domestic tourism, which is a mere circulation of the money that we already have in the market. So, but things will be helped far much better and far much more if there are less imports. And because tourism is an export itself. Now, if we import a lot to cater for the tourists, that money we are receiving from tourists that is coming as export earning, we look at the input-output analysis. It will then the gap might be too small. At the end of the day, we might not get the benefit that we are talking about. Although, of course, in terms of employment creation, whether you you create a conducive environment where manufacturers are producing. But in terms of employment creation in the downstream sectors, which we are worried about, in the agriculture, we need people to really make sure that they create employment in the agricultural sector, where people can then feed to the hospitality industry. For example, we talk of manufacturing. How many of us have the capacity to manufacture the type of bed that we specify for a five-star hotel? We import those. And if they were manufactured locally, because manufacturing should not only looking at or production of food, but no, even the facilities that are provided in the hotel. For example, if we talk about other amenities in the hotel, like the bed itself, how many beds, for example, are in the Rainbow Towers? Rainbow Towers has got close to 470 beds. 470 beds in one hotel. So if all those 470 beds are manufactured by someone, it's money that is returning in here. But unfortunately, some of the specifications in terms of for them to maintain a given star, they have no option but to import. How many of us here can manufacture TV? Well, just distributors. But we need each 3-star and above to have in each room a TV. It's a requirement. If you don't have that, we reduce your stars or we close you up. So a lot of manufacturing requirements are supposed to be looked at, and that will help the economy in a greater way in terms of job creation, in terms of costs of production. Everything will be counted to be as law.
Okay. As Chief Executive Officer of the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, what is your vision for the tourism industry for 2018?
Definitely everyone else who is working in this current setup, when I say current setup, I talk about the new dispensation, must be guided by the vision of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, and he has pronounced his vision quite well. And I think everybody else in that scenario has to align their visions to that of the president. Yes, we are very happy with our minister. She is very focused. She's done so well in the 3 meetings we have held with her so far. I think she's the most focused minister we have ever had in the tourism sector. And this focus will require a vision. She has pronounced a vision to us, and when a vision is pronounced, we must also support it. But yes, as ZTA, we have our vision. Our vision for ZTA is to make sure that this destination, Zimbabwe, is the number one attractive destination in the region. And we want to do this, and the Ministry of Finance, we're engaging them. They're prepared to support us coming from number 12 in the region to number 1. We're number 12 in the region at the moment, in SADC. Out of the 15 countries, we are further down to number 12. And we need to move from number 12 to number 1 within 3 years. And that can be done. It's achievable. Once we are number 1, tourism will never be the same again. Like I said, that this Operation Restore Legacy, it looks like it was really done for tourism. Tourism is the major beneficiary of this Operation Restore Legacy. And we are thinking that as long as the government maintains its current vision, and we maintain also our vision, we will definitely be there. In 3 years, if I'm still here, I will tell you that we are in the top 3, but we aim at being number 1 in the region.
Nice. I love that. I love everything that you've said about the vision. This is you as the tourism industry with your vision to get to the top 3 countries within the region. What can you say to the people in Zimbabwe? What can you say to us? How can we come on board to help you reach that vision?
Yes. What we've been doing in the past is we have been talking, but I think we have been hitting our head against the wall, if the truth be said, I think we've been hitting our heads against the wall. With this new dispensation, I think things are very open. When we say, following our president, that Zimbabwe is open for business, we are not only addressing the international community, we are addressing the local community, because it was very difficult for them to do business in their own country. The ease of doing business concept was very difficult for Zimbabwe. So we are simply saying, Zimbabweans, please, your government has loosened up things. The ease of doing business is not just now talk, it's real. And Zimbabweans, all of them, from all walks of life, should join the government. And if we join the government, things will be better for you, things will be better for our visitors, foreign visitors, but most importantly, the future of our kids is in our hands. And I think let us work together for the future of our kids.
Lovely. That is Dr. Kaseke. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Dr. Kaseke, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming out in the past 2 weeks to come onto the program, the Travel and Tourism Show. I'm sure everyone has enjoyed it. Please link up with us on our WhatsApp platform. Tell us your views. Give us your feedback, what you think, or maybe even things that you would also like to see being pushed forward through the ZTA. And he will surely take that up and look at it and see what can be done. So our WhatsApp platform is 0734 610 613, or link up with me on my social media platforms. On Twitter, I'm at Mazwi Shamu. On Facebook, I'm Mazwi Shamu. So like that page and link up with us. Let's talk. Let's hear what you have to say. Let's help build our tourism industry within the country. Dr. Kaseke, thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Mazwi.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, happy traveling.
Thank you for tuning in to the Travel and Tourism Show on Star FM.